perhaps we take tourists too much for granted, and there's a risk that we will fall behind our competitors if we haven't fallen behind already. And consequently, what we're saying is, look, we need to get a plan of action to deal with some of the issues that we have. Some are major inherent issues, and others are small issues which could easily be resolved with not too much effort.
You come up with a number of ideas. Take us through some of those key issues.
Well, one of the big issues is obviously how tourists get around the sites, and I think it's clearly a problem. Congestion is clearly a problem, especially on the Upper Rock, and we need to think about developing transport options to be able to give tourists a better experience, because on busy days the congestion on the Upper Rock is such that people do not, in our view, get a good experience. But it's also a case of giving the tourist a choice. We have many sites which are hardly visited by tourists, and by making sure that offering is expanded, and I think many of the sites are available, but they don't get to find out about them, or they're not taken there. And by actually expanding that offering of sites, we should be able to cope with bigger numbers.
There are two overriding messages that you can take from our manifesto. The first being improving what we already have, and there are some simple initiatives, from keeping the place clean and tidy, and we all need to be in it to make that happen, to perhaps more complex initiatives that requires more thinking, private sector contribution, and political will. The second message that we want to give out through this manifesto launch is the amplification of our tourist product. And John's mentioned a few examples of how we can achieve that. Look, at the end of the day, there are other parts of Gibraltar beyond the rock that can be used for land-based tourist initiatives, but we're also surrounded by the sea in large part. So encouraging more ideas in terms of making use of those natural resources to expand our tourist offering.
Perhaps the modern day tourist is seeking more authenticity in their experience, interacting with the local people, interacting with the local culture. What can we do in respect of marketing that to our tourists?
Perhaps be better versed with Gibraltar's history, its rich history from a very early age, so perhaps a bigger focus at school, or specific lessons from a very early age for our future generations to better understand and learn about Gibraltar's history, and then being able to promote that. Many students these days go abroad to study, to university, to work and live abroad, so that's a very easy and also cheap way of promoting Gibraltar internationally.
The bid project fell through. It involved a number of people coming together. Perhaps our failing is getting people to work together?
And look, it's not through the bid, and obviously we know where we are on that. There must be an initiative that brings people together. I mean, if it's not achievable in a small place like Gibraltar, then where is it? So one would like to think that we can find commonplace in terms of our objectives. And at the end of the day, the benefits are, in our view certainly, and from discussions with our membership, clear in terms of that need to invest in our tourist product beyond what we've seen so far.